So now you can start to see how different emotions can have different rule sets. And we'll discover these soon and cover them real quick to give you an idea of what's going on so that you can do a little bit of a self-analysis, but then you can also do an other mind analysis of what's going on in somebody else's mind. And let's say you run into a situation where there's a little bit of an emotional reaction that's blocking a sale or a business deal that you want to do. How do you get into their mind and move their variables around to change that emotional output for them? Well, if you learn a little bit about these rules, you can do that. So let's talk about the emotion severity for a second within each family. Each family of emotions, such as anger, has 4 or 5 different levels. Some of them have 10. There's subjective words now that we're starting to use to put on our emotions. So understand that this is where we get a little fuzzy, but you can get the concept of how this stuff works. Level 5 anger is a rage. Level 1 anger, maybe you're a little bit annoyed, right? Level 1 fear, you're a little nervous. Level 5 fear, you're in a panic. And again, you can pick subjective words and try to fit them in on the right or left of whatever it is that you want to try to fit into the severity of emotion on your emotion family. But you understand at least that the energy level within a certain family is going to help you decide, or help your subconscious mind decide, whether it's going to present you with the emotion of being a little disappointed. Let's say the sadness family comes up, your team lost the game. If you're super attached to the team, that's going to be more of a despair than it is a mild disappointment. If you just kind of like the team's logo that you just picked right before the game and they didn't win the game, then you're a little disappointed that the team you picked didn't win the game. If you have a closet full of logos and the stuff's on your wall in your sports cave, all of a sudden that's making a big difference in your life, that it's ruining the next month and a half of talking about sports for you. And you're hoping that they make the right changes for next season, because the season's absolutely ruined for you now, right? So you understand that severity can present within different emotional families. And we'll talk about how that occurs. Simple mixed emotion. Let's say you want your team to win the big game and you want it to be a close game. You want it to be an exciting game. And the result of the game is your team won the game, but it was a blowout. It's over in the first quarter, first moments of the game. They had a commanding lead and they never let go, right? Well, you're going to have a mixed emotion associated with that based on the 2 equations of emotions that are being processed there. One, your expectation or preference about the team winning the game, which they won, which balances out, which gives you a positive emotion, which is awesome. The second one, you wanted it to be a close game, but it was a blowout. It was in your favor, so you kind of like it, but at the same time, you're a little disappointed. You're like, well, it would have been awesome if it was interesting through 4 quarters of the game, or whatever game that you're playing. And so you have a mixed emotion. You're like, yeah, well, we won. It was awesome, but it would have been awesome if it was a little bit closer of a game, right? That's what creates a mixed emotion situation. And that can be as complex as you want it to be. And it does get complex within the human mind. And here is an example of a 40-year-old woman getting a divorce, middle-aged. So maybe she wants to be married because all of her friends are married and they're doing all the married stuff, and she's in all the married clubs and can have all the married discussions and yada, yada, yada. And now she's disappointed that she's not going to be married, and that's going to change her life in a major way. She wants the kids not to be affected by the divorce, but the kids are going to be affected by the divorce. So she's, of course, disappointed in that situation as well, to the level that she's attached to that idea. But maybe this was an abusive relationship, and now she's not going to experience any more abuse associated with that coming from her spouse. So now there's a happy side. It's like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually going to be getting out of this horrible relationship after so long. And it sucks that I'm not going to be able to go to the wives' dinners or whatever it is, or my social group's going to feel a lot more awkward now. But my God, wouldn't it be amazing not to get yelled at when I got home, right? So all of these individual equations of emotion build up in your mind based on You can have one expectation or preference you have multiple perceptions on that can line up and create multiple emotional reactions associated with that, or you can have one perception about something that then attacks 3 or 4 expectations and or preferences regarding, using our sports team analogy, whether a win or loss is going to be good for the team itself, for the coaching staff that was on its way in or out based on the wins and losses of the game, or a star player who got injured in the game. Whatever that perception is, can be attacking multiple expectations and or preferences, creating multiple instances of equation of emotion that come out and create individual equation of emotion responses based on how many process variables you're running through your mind at the moment. Okay, so this can be as complex as you need it to be, but it can also be pretty simple to identify the variables that, you said something wrong and you pissed off your significant other. Okay, let me go back 5 seconds and figure out what I said. You'll be able to identify that stuff much quicker and be able to recover from that kind of stuff much faster than you were previously.